Yo, welcome to the show where the energy's flown. It's your boy dropping heat. This is the Ozone. Step into the arena where legends are made. From the courts to the fields, watch the highlights played. Football, hoops, baseball, it's all fair game. If it's sports, we bring the fire, put respect on the name. Stats and debates, we break it all down. From the rookies to the GOATs who wear the crown. No halftime, all grind, we're setting the tone. It's prime time, baby, you're in the Ozone. Yo, it's passion, precision, the plays we dissect. From the underdogs, grinding to the Hall of Fame vets. This is more than a podcast, it's a sports throne. Let's kick it off right, welcome to the Ozone.
You have entered the Ozone with Omar and Dave.
Let's go, baby. We are here. And you guys have officially entered the Ozone. Since when we stopped trusting Leon Rose? I know I haven't. It's a lot of things to do. Tibbs got fired. And Leon ain't kidding around. No pun intended. When it comes to the rumors of who's going to be the next head coach. And are the Knicks Greek hunting? Or possibly going for a certain cactus in the desert? I don't know. Yankees doing what they're doing. Mets. I got a bold statement about the Mets. But I can't get into all of this without my co-host, super producer Dave himself. Brother, it's a new week. How are we feeling?
I'm feeling good. It's been a good week. It's been a really good week over here. And right now, I'm paying attention to my draft board. We're doing a slow draft for Dynasty. So if I look over there for a quick sec, don't mind me. Brother, we got things to cover. We went over Tibbs firing this week. We broke it down on the Instagram Live, but we still have to talk about it. So let's get it started, man.
Let's get into it. This week in Knicks.
This week in Knicks.
All right, y'all. This week in Knicks. Off-season edition. Because this is the off-season edition. I did say it was the last, but I said the last playoff edition. You see? Come on. I'm Triple H. I'm cooking. I put you guys in the work.
I know. It was just funny that was what you said, and then literally, like, the Knicks gave us news right away. Brother, break it down. Let's go.
Off-season edition, guys. It was on Tuesday. Yes, Tuesday. That the Knicks have relieved Tom Thibodeau from his coaching duties. Obviously, that it shook up the Knicks community. Let's just put it like that. Like I said on the IG Live, I fell off the elliptical. It was breaking news. Really not expected, especially because the Knicks gave up a little fight in the Indiana series, and you made it to the Eastern Conference, which is the furthest the Knicks have ever been in 25 years. And, brother, we spoke on the IG Live. We covered it. But it was also in the moment. Also in the moment where, you don't really have an opportunity to process it. So it's been now a week. Brother, let's just remind the audience and myself your overall thoughts on the firing of Tom Thibodeau.
So my overall thoughts are, I was in the camp of fire Tibbs. Now, obviously, we will preface this where I'm not just saying fire people just for the sake of firing people. My thoughts after taking some time is that maybe this is what the Knicks need. And I appreciate everything that Tibbs did to get us where we are. It was exciting for the Knicks in his tenure. We've seen the Knicks grow. We see the promised land is right there, and it's close. But I felt like, and we spoke about this in the live, and we'll cover it this. I felt like the Knicks may need a change-up to get them there. Sometimes there's, in sports, especially in basketball, sometimes there's a coach who can help you get there, and then there's a coach that actually gets you there. And I feel like maybe with this coaching change, we'll probably get there. So
all right. So when you think of that, right, it's the conversation has been, can Thibodeau, is Thibodeau the guy to get you over the hump? And I want to preface this, as I said before, when we started the live, we want to thank Tom Thibodeau. Tom Thibodeau brought stability. He brought the foundation. He brought an identity. He brought the consistency to the Knicks. He changed everything. You know what I mean? I can't count how many coaches, before him outside of Mike Woodson that have failed. So I want to do that. Now, that doesn't mean, so the media obviously wants to flip it and be like, oh, well, wow, the Knicks get rid of the only coach that has some sort of level of success when it comes to the Knicks. At the end of the day, to become a championship team, you have to make some bold decisions sometimes. There's a lot of teams that did it. Golden State, I think, is the most, I would say, the most relevant one right now. Obviously, there's other moments, like I said, in baseball, Buck Showalter getting let go, where he helped build the foundation, where Joe Torre took the Yankees over the hump. Some people are using the 2003 Detroit Pistons, where Rick Carlisle had back-to-back 50 game wins, but they had to get, they took them out. Larry Brown took them over the hump. So, you think about it and you go, just because he did that, that doesn't mean that he gets to keep his job forever. He needs to be held accountable. Now, this is the thing. So I don't think just because, you change the identity and this and that, all of a sudden you should be able to keep your job. Because also, let's not kid ourselves, brother. These are coming from the same people who complained basically every day that Tom Thibodeau's style of coaching is not conducive to a team that's going to win a championship, because he plays his team so many minutes that, that attrition is always going to come to bite the Knicks in the butt towards the end of the season. So now, those same people who were saying that are now getting on the Knicks. And I want to talk about something that's new before we get into the candidates, because I want to really break this down, brother, where it's structured in order. Ian Begley reported that this is a Leon Rose decision. This was strictly a Leon Rose decision. Obviously, in the end of evaluation meetings or whatever, they called in some star players. Obviously, you and I have hinted it definitely has to be Jalen Brunson, maybe Cat, maybe Josh Hart. I think those three was our favorites, right, brother?
As far as
maybe Mikal OG, but I think for sure Brunson, Cat, and Hart were the three that were involved. And then you have the owner, Jim Dolan. So, Ian Begley reported that this was a Leon Rose decision. So now you're hearing, this story came out on Saturday, from Vincent Goodwill from Yahoo Sports. James Dolan reportedly spearheaded the Tom Thibodeau firing. What was clear was Thibodeau's firing being spearheaded by the Knicks owner James Dolan, sources told Yahoo Sports. Dolan and team president Leon Rose held exit meetings with key players of the Knicks, and complaints were clear. Dolan, whom sources said was never a huge Thibodeau fan through the years, asked questions in the meeting while Rose took a secondary role. I have a problem with this, brother. And I'm going to call bullcrap on this story. Only because Thibodeau gets fired Tuesday. Ian Begley, for those that don't know, he's been following the Knicks for many years. He's a writer for SNY. Obviously, that's the channel that covered the Mets, and everybody knows that in New York. He's been on record to say, if this was strictly a Tom Thibodeau decision and Leon Rose was against it, Leon Rose would more than likely be fired with Tom Thibodeau. Go ahead, brother.
James Dolan, you said Tom Thibodeau decision.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah. If this was just solely a James Dolan decision that Leon Rose wasn't on board with, Leon Rose would have been fired with Tom Thibodeau. I just think right now, brother, you've been a long enough Knicks fan. You said it. You became a Knicks fan really when Melo was there, right? That's when you started.
Yeah, that's when I joined.
Obviously, the Knicks have not had a lot of success when Jim Dolan took over. And Jim Dolan has been known to, override things. Very, I don't want to say dictatorship, but override things and, undercut his presidents and GMs and that sort of thing. So right now, blaming Jim Dolan is the low-hanging fruit, brother. It really is. Because, and I say that, and I don't believe the story out of Yahoo Sports, because the proof is in the pudding to me. Leon Rose has now been here 5 years. And since Leon Rose has been hired, to his credit, Jim Dolan has taken a back seat and really whether people want to say, oh, he's been preoccupied and distracted with the Sphere or whatever, or this new work that he's got with Abu Dhabi and that sort of thing, whatever, don't care. But he has been taking a backseat and letting Leon Rose cook. I can't see how that's any different now. Now, does Dolan got a co-sign it? Of course, they gave Thibodeau an extension last year. He's owed $30 million, so of course the owner has to be on board with it. Of course, brother, if you're giving me $30 million, I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. I gotta evaluate this first before you telling me we're gonna fire this guy. You know what I mean? So it's like, my thing is, of course he's gonna be part of the decision. He's the damn owner. But to say he spearheaded that, I think is bullcrap, and I think is one of those Knicks for clicks kind of thing, because you know why? That's not the case anymore with the Knicks. The Knicks are not a dysfunctional organization where the owner's overriding the president. That's not that case anymore, and I think the media can't take it. That this was a decision by Leon Rose, because apparently, like, the media tends to forget that, we think that we're this buddy friend thing. Leon Rose has made some tough decisions when he's been here. You know what I'm saying? Like, Leon Rose is good. Leon Rose is a former agent for Julius Randle. He had to trade Julius Randle. Leon Rose knows that Jalen Brunson and Dante DiVincenzo was very close. He was very reluctant to include Dante DiVincenzo. But you know what? He made the deal. So it's like, let's not act like because there's personal relationship that Leon Rose can't be professional. I think this was a Leon Rose decision. I think Leon Rose, like most of us as Knicks fans watching the damn games, realize, you know what? I think we've squeezed the little juice that we have left in the Tom Thibodeau fruit, and now it's time for change. I think Dolan, as he should as the owner, co-signed on it, probably maybe in agreement with it, and that's it. But to say that I think he spearheaded this, I don't believe it, brother. I don't.
Yeah, it's just easy to blame him. Like, in the last 5 years, if you heard about James Dolan, it wasn't regarding the Knicks. It wasn't. If you heard about him, you really heard about anything because you may have associated him with Cablevision. You may have associated him with the Spear. You may have associated with all those other things. But if you really think about it, for the last couple of years, if you heard about James Dolan, it has not been about the Knicks besides the fact that he is the owner. And and if it was recent, very, very recent, it was him giving out game balls at the end of the game. That's all you really heard about him for. So it's easy to just put the blame on him, and I get it. There's history of him doing this kind of thing where you're just like, all right, I give you credit to that point, but sometimes you also have to just be like, all right, well, how much is this decision that, like, is this really on the owner? Jim Irsay is a person that I use as an example of someone who made a lot of questionable decisions for his Colts franchise. Now, sorry for your passing, and condolences to the family,
Right,
but
yeah.
at the end of the day, there was a lot of decisions that Jim Irsay made as a president or owner of the Colts that made you question, well, what is this guy doing? People
Right.
can take everything they want about him nicely now, but we can remember what they said about him and what he's done to impact that franchise. And it's not, watch how quick the narratives do change whenever it is relevant to the media story. So if you want to keep focus on something, then just realize that in the last 5 years, James Dolan has not been involved with the Knicks' decisions as much as the media will like to pin it on him.
He was on the Roommates podcast with Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart about maybe a month ago, 2 months ago, and he's owned up to it. He's owned up to it, like, hey, like sometimes most times I've overstepped. I've overstepped and undercut, his GMs and presidents, you know what I mean? And he's admit, like, that's something that he learned, that leave the basketball operations to the people who know basketball. His expertise is not in knowing how to structure a team. Now, yeah, you can like and dislike certain things. I'm not trying to say that maybe he was the greatest of Thibodeau supporters, but I think I would just put it like this. Okay, if he wasn't the biggest Thibodeau supporter, right? Thibodeau would have been fired maybe a year ago or 2 years ago.
He would never got that extension.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So I think that just shows you that I think this story's full of crap, and that Dolan has enough respect for Leon Rose to let Leon Rose cook. And I think when Leon Rose this brought this to him, as far as, hey, listen, I think we're looking to move on from Thibodeau, I think that's where Dolan was like, all right, cool. I wasn't really, I really wasn't rocking with him anyway, and I did it more because I trust you that you know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's more of that, and they want to flip it as this is like the classic Jim Dolan overstepping, undercutting his team. Well, I don't think that's the case. Now you hear more stories from this Vince Goodwill, that I honestly I think sometimes guys just want to make a name because it's the Knicks for clicks thing. But he reported that an anonymous Knicks player didn't feel like he could play for Thibodeau if he returned next season. A couple of players felt like Thibodeau played the starters too many minutes and felt he had an inability to adjust. Sources said another player said he didn't feel like he could play for Thibodeau if the coach returned next season. Now I'm gonna be honest. That can be from anyone. I think a lot of people are going, oh, Mikal Bridges. I don't think that's the case. Obviously, Mikal Bridges has highlighted during the season that he felt like the bench guys should be given a little bit more time. It could be from anyone. I'm gonna be honest. It could have came from It could have very much came from Jalen Brunson. I doubt it, but it's just obviously and that's something that we've all highlighted, especially you, brother. You've been part of the minutes police. As far as Tibbs and that sort of thing. And I'm gonna be honest. When it came to that, I tried to be on Tibbs' side, but at the end of the day, I was worried about that. I've always been worried about that, about guys going down, especially when you have players that's had a history of missing games, like Cat, OG Anunoby, so when, and those are important players that, Leon made big moves to get. And the last thing you wanna have is a coach that really just, he's burning the tires till you got no more traction. So I don't know who that came from, but I can definitely say that was probably the conversations they were having with Leon. And I think that's what also furthered Leon into making that decision to let Tibbs go, brother.
I agree. And I think the players just definitely had their say in this as well. Like they had to, I don't think they advocated for losing Tibbs, but I could definitely get where frustrations may have been voiced.
Yeah, yeah.
And maybe, you sometimes want to pull things out of players that they probably didn't get from them before. You want to see something change. And maybe like one of those things that we can address, which is a topic that's supposed to come up, is the Cat stuff, where you want to see his defense improve. You want to see him, adjust better. And maybe that's just not something that's going to work under the Thibodeau regime. Maybe, with the offseason moves that we're expecting and hearing about and the rumors going around, maybe there's things that are done to help if we keep Cat, help him, so he doesn't have to do as much or is required as much. Now, we'll cover that in just a sec, but I think this is just like a team decision that just had to be made. And yeah, it validates the thing I've asked for, but just because I asked for it doesn't mean that it's a right thing to do. So we'll
Right.
see. Well, obviously, whoever is the person that they end up hiring as the coach for the Knicks, this person is going to be scrutinized or under a microscope. I'll say that they're under a
Yeah, for sure.
microscope.
For
You,
sure.
the Knicks just won over 50 games this year. I think 51 games, if I'm not mistaken.
51, yeah.
There we go,
Yeah.
51 games this year. If that person doesn't win 51 games, there already is
It's
a
already
criticism there.
gonna be heat. Even before any playoff success, like anything,
Right.
yeah. 100%.
So this person who's inheriting this Knicks team is definitely going to be under a microscope, and I I literally just want to trust the process and want to see what the Knicks do. There's so much off season to go. We're still in the finals is going on, which is Norfest, but um, we'll see because
I've been watching this. I've been watching the Stanley Cup.
so we'll see.
I've been
This off
watching the
season is going to
Stanley
be
Cup.
really interesting. I'll just say that, really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. Finish. Go ahead.
No, I'm done. I'm done.
As you mentioned, let's get into the coaching candidates, and let's get into those wishful thinking coaching candidates that people would like, and it's just not gonna happen. You know, you got guys like. So let's get into that. Let's get into Ime Udoka. Obviously, Ime Udoka is one of the best young coaches around. Obviously, funny enough, he was one of those that interviewed for the Knicks head coaching job in 2020 before the Knicks went with Tom Thibodeau. So let's look at Ime Udoka first. Obviously, I'm gonna be honest. Ime Udoka would be great. He would probably be best case scenario. You can get him to coach, but right now he's got something good going in Houston. You know, he's turned that franchise around, and you're hearing that Houston's not gonna allow the Knicks to even have discussions with him. Nor does Udoka want to leave Houston. They have something really brewing there. Young team, and you know they won over 50 games this season. You know they had a successful season, and like I said, they got young guys that are under contract. So I don't see him there. So we'll eliminate Ime Udoka.
Yeah.
Then you have Jay Wright. Jay Wright, obviously the former coach, two-time national winning championship coach with Villanova. Obviously he's, you know, his fame is known to have coached Brunson, Hart, Bridges, you know, Dante, those guys. It was announced 2 days ago that he's officially not a candidate, as Jay Wright, you know, he's retired. He's happy being retired. The sources are saying that Leon Rose, and you know they're close, Leon Rose and Jay Wright, but Leon Rose understands that Jay Wright is happy in his retirement. You got guys like Chris Finch, and I'm saying it in order, bro, of guys that's not going to get the job or guys that's currently on the franchise. Chris Finch, who's the current coach of the Minnesota Timberwolves. I don't know how I feel about that. I think, you know, so from what I read, he's his offense. You know, he's definitely an offensive-minded coach in the sense of like his schemes and that sort of thing. I don't know. I'm just looking at Minnesota, and I'm like, okay, Minnesota. It's kind of like on the same track as us, and I just don't know. You know,
Something about Chris Finch is that they're giving him credit for the stuff of Anthony Edwards, and that's great, right? But Anthony Edwards is going to be Anthony Edwards. Like, we already knew the
Right.
promise of this kid and what he was going to become to be, you know, and I don't know how much the coach can be used as an example of helping build this star. Anthony Edwards clearly has the talent that he was going to get there regardless of who the coach was going to be. So I just, as far as Chris Finch goes, and I'm gonna let you continue, bro. That's something I wanted to note it because there's too much credit there to help Anthony Edwards become a franchise star, and it's like that was gonna happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Like every great coach has had a great player, so it goes hand in hand. I think his game has elevated with the presence of Chris Finch there. But obviously, you know, with Ant-Man, like Ant-Man's always gonna make your resume look a little bit more sexy. But I just think it's sort of a lateral move. I don't know if I don't know if he's the guy, and especially when you're gonna get a coach that's under contract with someone else, compensation needs to be talked about, and I just don't think he's worth that in the sense of like I don't know if I want to do all that for Chris Finch. So now let's get into the lead guy. The guy that's been basically headlining the rumors of the of this coaching situation, and that's Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd is looked at, you know, just 2 days ago. Is confirmed to be the top guy on Leon's Rose list of head coaching. Now, obviously, we know Jason Kidd has coached in New York before. He has rookie year as a coach. He coached the Brooklyn Nets. Started off slow, but wasn't that bad. Obviously, he goes on to Milwaukee to coach a young, starting to mature Giannis, and we'll get into that later. But then he gets a success with Dallas, brother, and he has Luka and takes that team to the NBA Finals, and really Jason Kidd, outside of, you know, his Hall of Fame career as a player, has really made a name for himself as head coach. I know we said on the live, some people, did you bring up Kidd? I know some people in the chat
Yeah, I
brought up
did.
Jason Kidd. I think you brought up Jason Kidd, and you know, I think Kidd is a good coach. I know he's really not my favorite, but I do understand that, you know, he has been able to bring a team to the finals. He hasn't got to the you know, over the hump yet as a championship winning coach, but he has been able to make the finals.
Yeah, and he has a
Now,
championship with the Lakers, as an
and he has a
assistant head
championship with the
coach.
Lakers as an assistant, right?
You know,
So now you're hearing that the Mavs, then a day ago, reports came out that the Mavs will let Jason Kidd decide if he wants to interview for the Knicks head coaching job. And then on Sunday, you hear Mark Stein reports the Mavs are likely to decline the Knicks' request to interview Jason Kidd. Some well-placed observers have said that the Mavs will turn down any Knicks request to interview Jason Kidd. Now, I don't know how that's going to work out. I don't know if Jason Kidd just, hey, listen, kind of forces Dallas or whatever the case may be. I don't know. I'll just say this, and some people have brought this up, especially in our group chat, brother, about why would Jason Kidd want to coach the Knicks when he's got his situation at Dallas? And I say to that, why wouldn't he? The Knicks are not the job maybe a few years ago where nobody wants. This is a team that was 2 wins away from the NBA Finals, 6 wins away from the ultimate goal of winning the whole title. It's New York City. You have your star player that's team first, clearly, in his actions and how he moves and what he does off the court. Shout out to him going to New Jersey, supporting Mitchell Robinson in his truck and the truck show, supporting his teammates. Why wouldn't you want to come to New York? An Eastern Conference that's less deadly than the Western Conference, wide open. You don't got the big bad Celtics. With Jason Tatum, obviously Indiana's having an amazing run in the NBA Finals, but they're not a team that you're looking at where it's like you're scared of them, regardless of their success this season. And then you have Dallas, where yes, you have Kyrie Irving, you have Anthony Davis, and you have a potentially if they keep their number 1 pick Cooper Flag. But I believe it was you that said in the group chat or something. Nico Harrison ain't staying there that long. So when a new GM comes in, they're probably going to want to assemble a new coach and a new staff.
you would think so.
So Jason Kidd may not even reap the benefits of what Cooper Flag could potentially be. And Anthony Davis is injury prone. I don't even think Kyrie Irving is going to start the season. I think Kyrie Irving is still going to miss a little bit of the beginning of the season. So I don't see why people think that Dallas is a better situation than the Knicks. Now if I'm Dallas, I'm gonna be honest, bro. I don't know if I'm gonna let Jason Kidd go. Why would you? Why would you?
If I'm Dallas, maybe I want a fresh. I'm thinking overall. If I'm Dallas, I want a fresh start. At this point,
Right.
everything is burned. Your fans hate you, and
Yeah.
you definitely have to
Yeah.
do some decisions. Now, letting go Jason Kidd is not going to be one of those decisions that fans are going to love, but I say if you're gonna go into this regime, right? If you're gonna start a new thing, because I think that this is a whole completely different Mavs team that going into this year. And should you get Cooper Flag, or should you make the trade to get rid of Cooper Flag, but bring in something else different? You want to start with something completely just brand new. I would want to start completely brand new. Bring in a new GM, bring in a new coach, because as a coach, you see the decisions that are being made, and you weren't consulted on that, because that's the other thing that happened with Luka. Luka wasn't that wasn't a trade that was consulted with everybody. It was very close circled. They probably spoke to the Lakers and Nico, and that's it. And they made the move. And
Right.
if I'm a coach, how do I feel that my player, my star player, who I've helped develop as a player, you just get rid of him
Right.
for what you got in return. Right? And Anthony Davis, if healthy, is top 5 players in the world. But he's not. That's the problem. Anthony Davis is never healthy. He never
Can't
will be
rely on that.
healthy. So
Can't rely on that.
you're making decisions that just impact your whole franchise, and this is what I have to stay around with. And it just doesn't give me the vote of confidence if I'm Jason Kidd. If I'm the Mavs, I just want to start completely new. You know what? Let's just build up from the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. There's some coaches out there, but like I said, obviously Johnnie Bryant is still linked to the Knicks, and we'll get into quick hits about a decision that was made that I think even puts a little bit more coal to the fire when it comes to that. I personally like Johnnie Bryant. I want Johnnie Bryant, as I touched on IG Live. Although Jason Kidd is a good coach, you're hearing it in the Mavs Twitter circle that they got their frustrations with Jason Kidd, where Jason Kidd, I believe Dallas was second behind the Clippers as far as isolation, the most isolation offense, and that's not something we want. We want creativity on the offense, I think. I like Johnnie Bryant. I think the Knicks have a team where the offense needs to be innovative. The offense needs to get guys going. This is no shade to Jalen Brunson at all. Jalen Brunson is the leader and the captain of this team. But you saw it a little bit when Jalen Brunson was out where the offense moved a little bit better because Mikal Bridges was moving around. OG Anunoby was moving around. So you need those guys. I think right now when it comes to the Knicks, it's very important that, before they make any moves as far as trades go, because now we're going to get into that in a little bit before I want to just get this point across. You got to get the coach. You got to get the coach. I feel like you got to get a coach that's going to be able to have some sort of say on how the roster's built. I'm going to say this, and I don't know if I have said this. I don't know. We do so much things now, brother. I don't know if I said this, but I'm going to repeat it. And I apologize for those if I did say this. I don't think the Knicks need to go big start hunting. I'll just put it at that. This is a team that was 2 wins away from the NBA Finals. 51 wins. This is the first season. Karl-Anthony Towns was traded right before training camp. This is a team that I don't think the issue is bringing in another big star. This team needs to work on their depth. That's what they need to do. They need to bring in some skilled defenders that can disguise and kind of not disguise. Kind of make up for the lack of defensive abilities you're gonna get from Towns and Brunson. This team needs depth. That's what killed this team. You know what I mean? It wasn't that this team couldn't score, and I get it, the defense was not as good, but the defense was good enough to get the Knicks 51 wins, and it was good enough to get us 2 wins away from the NBA Finals. Did it get exposed a little bit? Yeah, it did. But this is where you bring in guys that can help, little pieces. Now you're hearing the rumors that a tsunami, this is according to Gary Wolf, I don't know how you pronounce his last name, Wolfle, whatever, that a tsunami-type offer is being prepared by the Knicks to attempt to acquire Giannis Antetokounmpo from the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, I'm not going to kid it. There's no beating around the bush. Giannis is probably, you could arguably say Giannis is the best player in the league. That's how good he is. However, brother, yes, we traded 5 picks, 4 unprotected for Mikal Bridges. With the new cap, you have to match the money. So, Knicks fans, I ask you this. Who the hell are you trading to get Giannis? You're going to deplete the team to get Giannis. Milwaukee's not taking Karl-Anthony Towns straight up. As much as that would be great. If, in perfect world. In 2K.
In 2K?
You're going to have to give up 2 or maybe 3 guys from your starting lineup. Or 2 guys in your starting lineup and maybe Deuce McBride.
I think Deuce is gone.
I think Deuce is gone in any trade for a big guy, whether it be Giannis or now you hear Kevin Durant. But I want to get into Giannis first before we get into KD. So now you just depleted the team even more. Okay, yeah, this was great. Giannis, Cat, Jalen Brunson. Who fills the rest of the team? The problem was the depth. That was the problem. I don't get it. And I honestly, personally think, brother, this is PTSD from Knicks fans we always want to go into big fish hunting. And we're forgetting what made this team and what made the Knicks successful these past years was avoiding that. Was the signings of Jalen Brunson, where we got scrutinized for giving him a 4-year, $105 billion deal. It's those moves. It's the organic moves that led to getting an OG. I mean, well, Josh Hart first, an OG, Mikel, and then the Cat. Why are we trying to revert back now? Bro, you see it now, the two teams in the NBA Finals. Yes, they have their stars, but they have depth. The NBA has changed. This is not a super team get your three biggest stars and then they'll carry you through. No. This is the NBA is going back to 9, 10 man rotations. The Knicks need to do that. The Knicks need to build, and I understand a lot of people, oh, but remember, you're trading for Giannis. I get it. But at what cost? Go ahead, brother.
The Knicks already are championship contenders. Contenders. Making a trade for Giannis absolutely puts you in the picture, title picture. I'm just going to put it out there. But what you give up to get Giannis at the end of the day is going to gut the team. So if there's any attachment to any players right now, treat it like Game of Thrones, right? Never have a favorite character because they're gonna be
Right.
gone.
Yeah.
Um, so you're for those who love Deuce McBride and feel like he has a lot of potential with the Knicks, say bye to him. You like Mitchell Robinson? He's gone. You like you and people love picks.
OG or
People
Josh.
people love picks. Those picks gone. Whatever it is available, because we got literally a bunch of them from Mikal Bridges. So I don't know what you do to get these players, but I tell you what, the Knicks roster won't look the same. If you think we could run it back easily, that's not
I
happening.
just
And
I just
then
think on
who's
paper they
available to
look
pick
good,
up?
but
We're gonna pick up a bunch of PJ Tuckers after that.
yes.
A bunch of
Yes.
veteran 1 year contracts, and that's fine because that's what helped us get here. The Leon Rose era was filled with a lot of those contracts that don't hurt you. 1 to 2 years, you're gone. We'll move on and pick someone else up. But those were actually key pieces. Precious Achua was one of those pieces. Um, I'm drawing a blank on other names that come to mind that just didn't hurt us. But the Knicks have
Yeah, like
made
he's been known to make the Alec Burks, those kind of guys back in the day, Norland's Noel, yeah.
this guy, what's his name, the one who was but Bogdanovich. Those kind of those
Bogdanovich, yeah.
acquisitions don't hurt you so much once you let them go or trade them. But these players that people are advocating, Giannis or Antetokounmpo, and Giannis or Kevin Durant, I'll take either one. But don't tell me that we're going to be fine. Don't tell me that the Knicks are going to be in good hands because we still have to put those players on the bench, and then who comes in after that?
Right. Um, and then you hear Kevin Durant, and Kevin Durant is somebody that I would love on the Knicks, but at the end of the day, Kevin Durant is also 37 years old, 30 something like that.
37.
Yeah, 37. Obviously,
Average 27
being
points a game, by the
yeah,
way.
and
This is
look, Kevin Durant is amazing, but at the end of the day, at what cost? Are you trading Karl Anthony Towns for Kevin Durant? You hear that that Phoenix doesn't want anything to do with Karl Towns. This is all rumored. They may be open to maybe an OG or a Mikel, but they don't want a Karl Anthony Towns Kevin Durant swap. Now, supposedly from the news going around is that Phoenix has lowered their asking price for Kevin Durant. But just like in the Giannis situation, brother, I don't see it realistic because there are teams that also want those players that can offer a more enticing package. So, as I said, I think it's easy to pinpoint and link those players to the Knicks because it draws news. If you think about it, the Tom Thibodeau thing has had more coverage than the actual NBA Finals. You know what I'm saying? So I think what the Knicks need to do is work on adding depth to this team. Work on adding the right pieces that can better this team because I don't think the starting five is an issue. I think if you bring in the right coach, this starting five, because I think maybe the next coach might start Mitchell Robinson, brother, and bring Hart off. So now it's a little better defensively, the lineup. Maybe Mikel improves better defensively because he's not playing so many minutes. OG Anunoby the same thing. So it's things like that. We're just, and I get it, like the sample size that we have to use is this past season. However, maybe, Mikal can lock in better defensively. OG Anunoby can be even better defensively. We don't know. Maybe with a new coach and now these guys, instead of playing 37, 38 minutes and they're playing more 30, maybe that gives them more energy. Maybe that improves their defense. So, I'm not quick to just dismantle the team that was 2 wins from the NBA Finals, 6 wins away from winning the whole thing. Like, we were in the top 4, the Final Four. The Final Four in a wide open Eastern Conference. And I know the NBA, a lot can change. But it's a wide open Eastern Conference next year. The Knicks may very well be the favorite in the East next year with the team presently constructed the way it is. So, no, I don't want to, go. I don't want to gut the damn team for 37-year-old Kevin Durant. And yes, Giannis is still in his prime, but it's like I don't know if that'd be the answer. So let's see. The Knicks, there's a lot going on, but one thing I'll say is this. Leon Rose always does something that no one's talking about. Just when you think Leon's going left, he goes right. He's done it ever since he's been with the Knicks. No one saw the Mikal Bridges trade happening. And obviously no one thought he would be able to get Towns when he did and how he did. So, as much news people want to report about the Knicks, just when you think you know, what is that saying? Just when you think you know,
You have no
change
idea.
the rules. You have no idea. Something like that. Yeah. So,
One of those.
guys, but let us know. Let us know in the comments below what you think the Knicks should be doing. We covered a lot into it. The Knicks right now is just the news that keeps giving when it comes to the ozone. So let's see what happens, brother. But you want to pivot to some baseball, brother?
Let's do it. Let's knock it out the park.
Let's do it, guys. Let's knock. Oh, I like that. This is the Pinstripes Report.
The Pinstripe Report.
All right, y'all. This is the Pinstripes Report. This is where we cover them boys from the Bronx. And the Yankees, as of this recording, good week so far. We are on track of our predictions. They started off the week winning 2 out of 3 against the Guardians, and they won the first game against the Red Sox 9-6. Fell short Saturday though, 10-7. And obviously, as of this recording, we do not know if the Yankees will win the rubber game against the Boston Red Sox. We can give you who's starting. Matter of fact, let's look into that.
Tonight,
the starters. Yeah.
tonight is Rodon and
Rodon.
Dobbins.
Yeah.
Dobbins for the Red Sox.
Okay, I like our chances in winning the series against the Boston Red Sox. But let's talk about the Yankees. Obviously, the Yankees got some injury news. Good news is that Josh Chisholm returned. And Josh Chisholm looked like he hasn't missed a beat. Couple home runs, stealing some bases. I just love the energy that Josh Chisholm brings to the Yankees, man. He's one of those guys that, he came from purgatory with the Marlins, and the MLB should I don't know, the MLB, just to pivot, MLB should do something, really investigate the Marlins, man. Honestly, it's sad. You saw the picture of the stadium when they played the Rockies. First of all, they got swept by the last place Rockies. And then you see the stadium. They claim it was 5,000 people. It's hell no, that wasn't no damn 5,000 people. It looked like it was about 1,000 people there. Horrible, horrendous. It looked like COVID. But you get a guy like Josh Chisholm who's happy to be here. They transition him to third base. So they could play LeMahieu more at second. So, obviously, he's been a team player, saying he'll play anywhere. You know what I mean? He's just happy to be here. Rumor has it that Giancarlo Stanton will be traveling with the team this week, and he's going to be playing some rehab games. So that's good. That's good to know that we're going to be getting Big G back. But we did get a little bad news over. I think it was in the Dodger series. Yeah, it was the Dodger series. We lost Luke Weaver. So Luke Weaver is going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. with the quad injury, with a hamstring injury that he sustained warming up last Sunday. And brother, I think you remember I did not like that Boone pitched him on Saturday and that blowout loss to the Dodgers. I'm not trying to say maybe he hurt it there, but there's no coincidence. You pitched him that day. The next day he's warming up Sunday and he's having issues with his hamstring. So, that puts your boy Devin Williams back into the closer role. He's been okay. I think his first appearance with Cleveland, it looked a little rocky. He gave up a run, but he bounced back. He bounced back against the Red Sox as well. So I'm gonna be honest. Looking at the Yankees bullpen, I would like I would like to add another piece. I think they need to. The game on Friday against the Red Sox was a little alarming. We had a big lead and we were letting them creep back in, and I wasn't feeling that. You look at the bullpen on Saturday, they continued to give up runs while the offense was trying to come back, and I think the Yankees got to add another arm. But all in all, I think the Yankees win on Sunday. They'll have a good week. They still have the best record in the American. Do they have the best record in the American League? I don't think so. I think it's still Detroit.
I can double check. While we're doing this.
Okay, thank you. But they definitely still do have a nice lead in the American League East. But the Yankees are going to continue to roll. Obviously, it's in June, so I'm not talking in fear. But
The second
Yankees,
best.
They have the second best. Okay, so the Yankees got to make some moves. Obviously, third, I think second base or whoever, I don't know, because now it used to be a third base problem, but now they moved Chisholm. But the Yankees got to get another bat in the infield, whether it's a second baseman, whether it's moving Chaz back to second and finding a third baseman. But I think that's going to be it. I don't think that Peraza, LeMahieu is the solution there. Anthony Volpe did get hit, and X-rays came out clean. Boone expects him to be in the lineup either tonight against the Red Sox or Sunday night against the Red Sox, or at least Tuesday when they play the Kansas City Royals. So let's get it. Anything, brother, before we get into the week?
No, nothing to cover right now.
Okay. Max Fried also bounced back, so that's good to see. So Max Fried just, that one little hiccup start against the Dodgers. So let's get into the week ahead, brother. Put up the graphic. All right. So the Yankees, they got a big week. Yankees got a big week on the road. 3-game set against the Kansas City Royals. Rematch from the American League Division Series. Now I know the Royals have they regressed a little bit. They're 33-32, so obviously there was a lot more expectations for them after such a good season. Big series there, and then they close out the week against the Red Sox again, but this time in Boston. So a big week for the Yankees. I think this is a big week for the Yankees, a challenging week, but it can also be an easy week if the Yankees just play their game. Brother, this is going to be the first week that we will be taking bets and our predictions. So we haven't really discussed. We haven't.
I was just going to bring that up. Yeah.
Loosely. So we got to put it like this. We have to really be. I think if we're going 2 out of 3, right? Like let's say we're in agreement with 2 out of 3. I think what wins us and this is going to get complicated. I think what wins us the week would be if we can pick which games. So let's say 2 out of 3. All right, I got the Yankees winning the first 2. They lose the last one or something like that. Because I think if we just doing 2 out of 3, I think it's where
yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'll start first.
Okay.
I'm going to start first. I got the Yankees 2 out of 3 on both. I honestly do. I think the Royals right now, they're not in the same class as the Yankees. So I got the Yankees winning 2 out of 3. I do think they drop the last game. I do think they win the first 2 games. I think they win Tuesday and Wednesday and drop Thursday. I'm going 2 out of 3 With the Red Sox, I do think they lose on Sunday. So I think I got it both. 2 out of 3, Red Sox, Royals. I think the Yankees win both the first 2 games of those series, and they drop the third. That's where I'm going.
All right. So I got us doing 2 out of 3 against Kansas City, but I got us losing the first game and then winning Wednesday, Thursday. And then for the Boston series, I'm going 2 out of 3, and we lose the first game, win the other 2.
I was leaning that way with Boston, but being that I had the Yankees winning the first 2, I'm like, damn, the Yankees not going to 2-game losing streak. But I think that. So all right, so we got 2 out of 3 both. But
Yeah,
you
we'll
got
have to
basically
track
the
this one a
Yankees.
lot. Yeah, we'll have to track
Yeah,
this.
you got the Yankees winning. Basically, I think it's a little easier. You got the Yankees losing both the opening games of the series, obviously salvaging the series by winning the next 2. I got them winning the first 2, losing the last game. I just think it's really difficult to get the sweep. But I think the Yankees are playing good enough ball where, but we'll do that, and I think that'll be a point.
Yeah.
So if you get, you know what I mean, we'll do it like that, a point system like that. So we'll do that. So we ran through the Yankees pretty quickly, guys, because I want to talk about the Mets. Because I feel like they're the ones that are starting to make some noise. So let's get into it here on the Amazing Rundown.
The Amazing Rundown. It's about the Mets, baby. Love the Mets. All right, baby. Let's go. Get a home run, baby. Love the Mets. Let's go, Mets.
All right, y'all. This is the Amazing Rundown. This is where we cover them boys from Queens. And I said in the opening of this show, I got a bold statement. I'm going to get into that pretty soon. But let's talk about the Mets week that it was, brother. They split a 4-game set with the Dodgers. They go out and beat the bricks off the Colorado Rockies. With a tight one in the beginning, 4-2, but then the Mets showed who was boss with an 8-1 win. And obviously, as of this recording, we don't know if they're going to win the third game, but I think it's safe to say they will. Now, I want to talk about this Dodgers series. Met fans, you're going to love this. Dave, you're not going to love this. This should have been a 4-game sweep for the Mets. The Mets, to me, have proved, and I know it's early June, the Mets have proven to me that they are the best team, not in the National League, but the best team in baseball. This team has pitching, has a lights-out bullpen, and they have an offense that can slug. This team has everything going for themselves. This is a 2-game split with the Dodgers because of mistakes that the Mets made, not because the Dodgers won. This could have easily been a 4-game sweep in Dodger Stadium. I don't care about the injuries that the Dodgers have. Whatever, they started pitching. I know, no, Mookie Betts did play that series. Mookie Betts missed more of the Yankee series. But the Mets came into their house and dominated. I'm sorry, they played good ball. Brandon Nimmo, one wrong turn. Brazuban blows a game, blows a save. This is a sweep.
Right.
An easy sweep. The Dodgers is the big bad wolf of baseball, right? But this Met team not only won the season series against this Dodger team, but you look at these games, brother, and although the Mets won the season series 4-3, the Mets could have easily been 6-1 against the Dodgers this season. And the Mets haven't even gotten back Sean Manaea. Obviously, I know Frankie Montas is having rehab starts. But right now, the Mets are the best team in baseball right now in my eyes. And they're going to get better. They're going to make moves at the deadline. They may get Jacob deGrom back. This Mets team is dangerous. That's all I'm going to say, brother.
You know what makes this even better for the Mets? Your $800 million player is still not playing his best baseball. he's still not playing his best baseball. So if there's like, first of all, you're the first place team, right? If there's any doubts, if there's anything that like anybody outside of the Mets organization or fan base has to question, just remember their guy is not playing his best baseball. Just
Right
remember that.
now, um, yeah, yeah. But I'll tell you this: Francisco Lindor, conversations needs to be had about him being an early candidate for MVP. I know Met fans believe he should have won over Otani. I think that's a little bit of a stretch. I think Otani deserved that MVP. But you're looking at Francisco Lindor, 289, 14 home runs, 38 RBIs, OPS 858. The heart, he's got a broken toe. And this man came in, pinch hit double to win them the game on Friday against the Rockies. Where you got Mookie Betts out here missing games because of a broken toe. Francisco Lindor's missed those games because they just don't want to play him. But Francisco Lindor, you're going to sit there and tell me that Francisco Lindor is not vouching for himself to play, although he's injured? He came in, he's doing the damn thing. Pete Alonso, who had a hot start, kind of cooled off. He came back. He owned the Dodgers this most recent series. 296, 15 home runs, 57 RBIs.
Team leader in all of them.
OPS 966. This Met team is the best in baseball. They're better than our Yankees.
Yep.
They're better than Detroit. And they're better than the Dodgers. And this team will get better. They're going to get better. Juan Soto's going to... Honestly, at this point, I'm tired of saying whether he's going to get there or not. But as you touched on, the fact that this team has 40 wins already, and Juan Soto has basically done nothing, that'll tell you something. How good this Met team is. Jeff McNeil, Brandon Nimmo, these guys are balling. Brett Beatty, balling. Their bullpen, Reed, Brazaban. Reed. Why did I say Reed? Garrett, right? Yeah, Garrett. Yeah, Reed Garrett. Yeah, I said, yeah, Reed Garrett. Ryan Stanek. Brazaban. Shout outs to David Peterson. Kodai Singer. Clay Holmes. Mets are the best team in baseball, and I said it. And I'm not going back on it, brother. Let's look at the week ahead. Let's look at the week ahead for the Mets. They got another week where they can show dominance. It's that simple. They head back home, and they have a 3-game set against the Washington Nationals, followed by a 3-game set with the Tampa Bay Rays. Now I know that the Nationals have been playing some. They're not. They're not a favorite. They're not. They're 30 and 34 right now as of this recording. And sorry, the Mets don't have 40 wins. They have 41 right now as of this recording. But the Nationals are feisty. They are a feisty team. However, like as I said, the Mets are the best team in baseball. They're gonna sweep the Nationals. I'm going that clean sweep. I'm making this very easy in our predictions. Clean sweep for the Mets, and they got the Tampa Bay Rays, and I do think they take 2 out of 3. They win the first game, drop the second, win the third. So the Mets, and looking at the Mets schedule ahead, I think it's gonna get rolling. This Met team, as Tommy Lugauer from the Fan would say, the Mets are gonna do damage.
We're doing predictions, aren't we? All right. So, Nationals. Just had it up. I don't know why I went back to Yankee schedule. Um, I got the Mets sweeping Washington. I got them sweeping Washington and then going 2 out of 3 against Tampa. And the game I see them they could lose is a Saturday game, 4-10. I don't know if you're on mute, brother.
So you got the same as me. Sweep against Colorado, 2 out of 3. Win the first game, lose the second, win the third. All right.
Yep.
All right. Sounds good. So guys, this has been already a jam-packed show, and we've kind of told y'all that it was going to be a jam-packed show. But this is where it gets a little quick. So let's get into it. This is quick hits. All right, y'all. This is quick hits. This is where we cover everything around the globe. The hits are so quick, you don't see it coming. Guys, game one of the Pacers Thunder's NBA Finals averaged 4.7 rating, 8.91 million viewers for ABC, making it the lowest rated and least watched NBA Finals opener since the Nielsen ratings tracking began in 1988, excluding the the COVID impacted 2020-2021 Finals. Brother, is the NBA facing a star power problem, or is it more the market size and fan engagement?
Can I say all the above?
Yeah, I
I
agree.
say it's all the above. The star power problem at the end of the day, yes, HCA is the MVP, but how many people outside of basketball fans know of SGA?
Yeah.
At least when you had like LeBron or Curry in the picture, people know those guys. So that's definitely the problem with the star power, and then the market size, like Indiana, okay, Oklahoma, just whatever, and then the fan engagement. At the end of the day, fans didn't want to see this matchup. I think if you had the Knicks, maybe you get more just because of the Knicks fan base. Um, but
Knicks
this
had the
could have been
top
the same,
rated. The Knicks had the top five highest rated games of the season, so that's
right?
definitely a fact.
And then for the West, like either way, had it been Oklahoma or had it been the Timberwolves, this would have been the same result. So this is just a problem of all three. Any thoughts on
I
that,
also
bro?
think, yeah, I think it's a combination of all of that, what you said. I also think, if you really think about it, Tyrese Halliburton, and then especially Tyrese Halliburton's not likable. A lot of people don't like Tyrese Halliburton. And obviously, SGA has now become the villain with the foul merching that they say, and there's a lot of people that troll SGA. So I just think that both stars on their team are one, like you said, they're not, they don't have that casual fan lore like a LeBron and a Curry. And then to the basketball world, those are two guys that basketball fans really don't care too much for anyway. So that's what it
Yeah.
is.
All right, brother. Let's move it on. Let's keep it in basketball though. So ESPN Bobby Marks projects that Tyler Hero is to land a 3-year, $149.7 million extension with the Miami Heat. Is Hero really worth that kind of money?
I don't think so. I think Tyler Hero is a good player. I think Tyler Hero is he's a great three option. I don't even think he's a number two option. He can drop buckets, but when you're talking that kind of money, you're talking over 50 million for the year. That's star player money, and I get it. We said that a lot of guys. It's just this is the NBA now where everybody's getting paid. But Miami Heat are right now stuck between a rock and a hard place. Bam Adebayo, they got guys that are good number twos, number threes. They don't have any number ones. They're stuck between a rock and a hard place. And if you really commit this kind of money to Tyler Hero, you're stuck with him. So I think that's something that Pat Riley really needs to evaluate before agreeing to do. But like I said, I don't like the Heat, so I hope they do give him that money because he's not worth it.
If anything, I'm just interested in what Miami Heat do this offseason. You gave up Jimmy Butler during the season, and luckily that saga's done with. But I am interested to see what the Heat do just for basketball purposes, and I love the drama. Um,
Yeah, yeah. So let's continue with the NBA because the NBA is always cooking. Arizona Sports Talk host James Garbanduro, and that's the question I thought you were gonna read. I was like, yeah, you're gonna botch that last name. I did. Shared that the Phoenix Suns reportedly don't want Bradley Beal to return. Now Charlotte Hornets is rumored to have shown interest in Beal. Brother, would a fresh start in Charlotte be the move for Beal needs to revive his career?
I don't know if it's going to revive his career. I mean, at the end of the day, what does Charlotte do to get him? I think at this point, if you're the Suns, you give him up for peanuts. So it's not a
They
matter
want
of
to.
what.
They
Yeah,
want to. I
yeah.
don't. Yeah.
I don't think it's a matter of what you get in return for at least Phoenix. It's just more so getting that guy off their roster. For Beal, I mean, you're going to Charlotte.
Yeah.
You're going to Charlotte. Like you're going to the purgatory of being in the NBA as No, this does nothing for his career. And just if I'm Beal, just send me wherever because I'm still getting paid.
Yeah. Just to add a little bit more, I know he doesn't want to leave. He wants to stay in Phoenix, so Phoenix is pretty much stuck with him. I'll say this is if Charlotte wants him, I don't know why, but whatever.
Right. He's not a star. To me, he's not a star.
Yeah.
So why
No, he's
does Charlotte
not.
want him? So I
Yeah.
don't know. It's just funny.
Yeah, I agree.
Um, let's stay with basketball some more, and we're actually staying in Phoenix. So the Suns are set to hire Cleveland Cavaliers assistant Jordan Ott as their new head coach. The move adds fuel to the speculation that Johnnie Bryant could be heading to New York to take over the Knicks head coaching role, but was Ott the right hire for the Suns?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know much about him, but the fact that Cleveland had such big success this year, and although Kenny Atkinson, their head coach, gets a lot of credit. If you know, Johnny Bryan and Jordan Ott were big as far as their contributions to the assistant coaching role. I'll say this: this is not a coincidence that, and I touched on it in the live that the minute the Knicks fired Tom Thibodeau, the minute that Ott and Bryant were the top candidates for the Phoenix Suns. And the minute Thibodeau gets fired, it gets announced the next day that Ott was selected as the coach. I think it was more, they knew Johnny Bryant was going to lean more towards the Knicks, and I think they settled with Jordan Ott. Now, does that make him the right move? I don't know. Phoenix right now is a tough situation. Kevin Durant's more than likely not going to be there. Yeah, you'll have Devin Booker, but it's a tough Western Conference. I don't know how they're going to fare, but I do think this hiring is more of Phoenix knowing that Johnny Bryant is linked to the Knicks and wants that job, or would rather just stay in Cleveland. Otherwise, then I think this is more of a settling job. They settled with Ott.
All right.
Yeah. So, all right. NBA commissioner is doing something that's been speculated for some time now, and he's finally made it official. As Adam Silver revealed on Fox Sports One's Breakfast Ball last week, that next year's All Star Game will feature the Team USA versus Team World concept. Brother, could this new format be what finally saves the All Star game?
No, this will get more eyes. This will definitely get more eyes on the game of basketball. But this isn't saving it. At the end of the day, there is
No.
no stakes and on the line for the All Star game. Had you had a stipulation like home field advantage or something like that, there's got to be something more for the players to be incentivized to play this game. Otherwise, I'd rather see them play the games that they play at Rucker Park or something like that because
Right. Yeah.
this is nothing to them. This is to me, it's nothing's gonna change. This is becoming the NFL's Pro Bowl situation. So I don't know what they can do, but this isn't it. If you want eyeballs, if that's what you care about, Adam Silver, then you got that. You got the world watching you.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree. I agree.
yeah,
I
yeah,
know they say country pride, but yeah, that's the thing in the Olympics. As you said, they're playing for something. It's the Olympics. It's the fact that your country will be number one. I think they saw the success of hockey. That hockey has that, and they brought a lot of success. But like I said, I don't think that's gonna. I don't think that concept is gonna want Anthony Edwards to play harder than what they've done in the past.
yeah. Um, the Orlando Magic. We're staying with basketball, so the Orlando Magic just finished to unveil the fresh new logo, court, and jersey, paying tribute to their iconic '90s era, made famous by Shaq and Penny. What's the verdict? How are we feeling about these throwback vibes, bro?
I love them. I love them. I'm not a fan of the logo. I think the logo looks generic. It looks. I saw a post on Twitter that they're using all these oval damn logos. It looks very similar to Toronto. Pacers got an oval logo. It's so many. So I'm not crazy about the logo. I love the court. They're going back to the wood panels. How, like, you know what I mean? Like, I love that. And the jerseys are fire. Come on, man. Like, Orlando in the '90s had arguably one of the best jerseys in the league. The Charlotte Hornets. So, like, you go back to that, paying homage to those, Shaq and Penny and those guys. I love them, brother. You in Orlando. You got a little love for the Orlando Magic. What you think?
I love it. Besides the logo, I think they had two logos that they unveiled, so I like the
Yeah.
other one a
So they
little
got
bit
like
more.
three logos, like the
Yeah,
primary, but I don't like the circle one that has Orlando Magic around the ball. I don't
yeah.
like that one.
Not a fan of that one, but I am a fan of the jerseys. I do have actually two Orlando Magic jerseys. Funny enough, Hardaway. So, but yeah, I am a fan of the jersey. I may want to pick one up later on, but I like the thing. I like everything else they changed besides the logo. Yeah, brother. Let's just move it on.
All right, yeah. TKO is reportedly looking to renegotiate Roman Reigns' $15 million contract deals, as it's believed that it's an expensive price tag for someone working a part-time schedule. Is Roman still worth that kind of money to WWE, or is it time to move on, brother?
At this point, I want to preface this: WWE is Roman Reigns.
Yes.
He is the needle mover in that company. And if you want to look up numbers, if you want to look up revenue, if you want to look up anything, if you want to associate it with the top, maybe not right now current standings, but for the last several years, it has been Roman Reigns. Yes, he is worth that money. Now TKO has their own problems and they have so much going on in the back that they need to figure out. But there's so much money that they're making. This is the thing that they talk about after WrestleMania and other pay-per-views. How much money they're making. It's the biggest we ever been. So why are you cost cutting? Why are you cost cutting? And then if anything, you're cutting off from the top guy. It just doesn't make sense to me. And at the end of the day, this will be. We spoke about this last week about WWE TKO and all this stuff, but this is the dominoes starting to fall in place of what could be the downfall of the success of what they have been and the money that they're bringing in. Stop making it stale. Eh, it's not a good move.
Yeah,
What do you think,
look,
brother?
look, man, you don't mess with the golden goose, man. At the end of the day, WWE is hot, but WWE is hot because of Roman Reigns. The Bloodline storyline is what propelled and the WWE to the status that it is now. WWE was stale. Roman Reigns comes back during the pandemic year, and the Tribal Chief was created, and WWE took off since. TKO right now is getting in their own way, and their greed will eventually be the reason that WWE will lose their steam. It's as simple as that. So, yeah, that's all I got to say. Don't piss off Roman Reigns, because there's another billionaire that got a lot of money that will be more than happy to
To give him
pay
a
him
blank check?
that money for an even lesser schedule. So let's put it at that.
Yeah, give him a blank check.
Yep.
All right. Speaking of TKO, WWE's Money in the Bank went down this past weekend. What do you think of the event? The winners are both Naomi and Seth Rollins in both their matches of the Money in the Bank matches. What do we think, bro?
I like that heels win. I don't like that baby faces good guys win Money in the Bank. So I do like that the heels have won. I just thought I would have preferred Roxanne more than Naomi, but I know Naomi has a storyline going on with Jade, and she's had a good run since her turn. So I'm not willing. I don't really care too much for that. I think the Seth Rollins thing didn't need. Seth Rollins didn't need to win the briefcase. I think it's an easy way to get. It's an easy, cheap, creative way to eventually get the title on him. But I wish it would have went to a. I wish it would have went to another like guy coming up. You know what I mean. But then again, you look at the options that were on that match. It was a no brainer that Seth was gonna win. No
Yeah.
brainer. Obviously, I think the most glaring thing about the Money in the Bank pay per view was the return of our Truth Ron Killings after he was announced a week prior that he was released, and now Triple H wants to say that it was all part of the plan, which I call bullcrap on. That's always been WWE's MO, that they like to think, they're too smart for their own self, so they like to, think that, okay, they wasn't swayed by the audience, and I hate that so much because that's such an arrogant way to carry yourself. Just be honest. No, we made a mistake. We're trying to cut corners. TKO, we've just read in our previous question that they want to cut Roman Reigns' contract. Our Truth contract wasn't renewed because of money. They want to save costs. So no, it backfired on you. The fans spoke and you pivoted, which is fine. But don't try to make it seem like it was part of the plan, because it wasn't.
Right. His own son, Ron Killings, or Truth, or whatever we want to call him at this point, he called out the stop the cap, and I don't think that's a work, bro. So Triple H,
Yeah,
try to
I
save
don't
face
know.
as much as you can, and you're so much of a company guy that I don't trust your words. Paul Levesque. Actually, I'm going to refer to you now going forward as Paul Levesque because Triple H is gone. Paul Levesque, stop trying to save face.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
let's
I agree. Yeah, no, let's
yeah.
keep the momentum going, brother. Let's keep the momentum going. It's been a huge week for TKO. They have Money in the Bank, but they also have UFC 316 that follow the Money in the Bank, brother. What's your thoughts on the two big matches in the event in general? UFC 316.
On the big matches, I am happy with the results because I think Pena just kept her eye off the ball. I think she was looking ahead, and I think she wants to face Nunez, and well, that's not going to happen for you, girl. So sorry for that. And then O'Malley losing that fight. I mean, I think the guy's a pit bull. I don't know how to say his
Yeah.
name fully. Divashali or
Morab,
something.
just yeah.
But
Morab.
Marab, like O'Malley just doesn't have the game to switch it up and do what
Yeah.
this guy can do. This guy's a pit bull.
Yeah.
Once he locks on you, it's
Yeah.
over. It's all he's
Yeah.
gonna do. He's annoying.
Yeah, he has his vice grip. Like, yeah, O'Malley wants to he wants to stand and he wants to box more or less. But when it gets down to the grappling and the wrestling, he just doesn't have the ability to do it.
Right.
So we all kind of knew where that match was going. As far as Juliana Pena, I'm a big fan of hers, but I also think she was talking a lot more crap leading into the fight, and I do think that, brother. I think she had her eyes more set on Amanda Nunes. The minute Amanda Nunes announced that she's coming out of retirement and she's gonna face the winner of that match, I think why am I not drawing a blank now? This girl, come on, who just lost? I just said her name. I don't know. uh,
Pena.
Pena. I think Pena just overlooked her opponent, and it backfired on her. All right, brother. Last one. We get down to the last one, brother. Quarterback. Aaron Rodgers has officially signed a 1-year, $13.65 million contract with the Pittsburgh Steelers, which includes a $10 million guarantee and could be worth up to $19.5 million with incentives. The deal features basically an over $5 million incentive in playtime and the team performance bonuses. The big question now, brother, is will Rodgers have a bounce back and have a strong season in Pittsburgh?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
The guy's what, 41 years old? It's just like
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers, right? If you want to take in his talent and everything, that's great. But the guy's only won one Super Bowl, and that was so long ago at this point. Guys have won so many Super Bowls since then. He has done nothing. He's been eliminated in the playoffs every time he gets there. He's not the guy that y'all guy make him to be. Don't get me wrong. Like it was there, but we saw it relevant in the Jets' tenure, and then we see it now. It's just oh my God. Steelers. You could have made so many other different decisions. You could have gone and drafted someone else. You could have gone and made a trade for someone else, or picked up a free agent. But you went and decided to pick up this old hag. I can't wait to watch it all crumble. You're not beating the Ravens. You're not beating the Bengals. But go ahead.
Isn't the Steelers like their like moniker is like excellence, the thing of excellence, something like that? I think it's mediocrity now.
We're gonna
I
see them
think
excellently fail. I
yeah,
see that.
I think the Steelers are so stuck on the of their coach Tomlin. Oh, he's never had a losing season, and I think they just love that. Do I think Aaron Rodgers makes them better? No, Aaron Rodgers doesn't even make them the best team in their division. Now, uh, they got rid of Pickens. I'm not sure who they're throwing the ball to anyway.
DK Metcalf.
Um, DK Metcalf. They did get DK Metcalf. Okay, still doesn't make them good enough. We saw what we saw with the Jets. Like, we're not blind. We saw what we saw with the Jets, and I would say the Jets had probably more offensive talent than the Steelers. Arguably, the Steelers are more their defense is what got them their record. So I think this is gonna fail like the Jets experiment did, and maybe Aaron Rodgers can transition into Pat McAfee's show. So I could give two craps about Aaron Rodgers, to be honest. All right, y'all. So it's been a long show, and we just want to thank you guys for hanging in with us. But we can't end the show without sharing you guys the highlight of the week.
He's on fire!
All right, y'all. Highlight of the week goes out to, and like I said, and we really mean it. When I open up Quick Hits, I said we cover everything around the globe. And that's what we do here at the Ozone. Because we going international with highlight of the week as former lottery pick Nick guard Frank Ntilikina is creating posters overseas as he did a monstrous jam. And look at the look he gives at the end. Look at that look, like a grown man. Like the boy has grown to a man. This is no longer Frank Ntilikina getting punked by LeBron James and Ennis Cantor having to have his back. This is mama, there goes that man Frank Ntilikina jam there, brother.
I think this is, if anything, this run that he's having right now overseas is the makings of him coming back. You already saw what the league like looking over to these other leagues and pulling guys over. We saw that with the 76ers bringing over this guy from France, and the writing was on the wall in that Olympics. So I don't be surprised
Frank
if you see Frank.
Ntilikina could play defense. He's been a defensive guard. What's obviously got him out of the league was his lack of offense. He couldn't shoot. He really couldn't do that. He didn't really have that in his bag to go and dunk on somebody. So seeing that is just like, okay, he got a little dog. And then, there was news that came out a couple days before that, him scrapping it up in the streets. People getting feisty. So Frank Ntilikina got a little dog in him.
Don't be surprised if you see him. Don't be surprised if he's in the NBA this season.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he definitely gets a look out, maybe like a spring summer camp invitation or something like that. But shout out to Frank Ntilikina. He's what you would consider an NBA flop, but he is a recipient of Highlight of the Week here on the Ozone. So guys, we want to thank you guys so much. What I want to do now is I haven't told you this, Dave, but I want to just shout out here at the Ozone, we ask for support. We love that you guys support us, but we also practice what we preach. And when we got friends, when we got family that is doing something special, we want to share and highlight that. Over the weekend, my cousin opened up his donut shop, Go Donuts. That's I believe is on. Dave will have the graphic of where they're located in East Harlem, and they had a grand opening on June 6th on National Donut Day, and I just want to congratulate him. So Trips, proud of you, bro. Proud of you on the opening. I'm gonna be heading over there in August, so when I go to New York in August, I'm definitely trying out the donuts. So guys, if you like donuts, I don't know who doesn't, bro. I don't know who doesn't like donuts, especially mini donuts. And you in East Harlem, show some love and head up to Go Donuts and let them know that the boys of the Ozone sent you. I'm pretty sure they will hook you up if you let them know. They don't know that I'm saying that, but I know for a fact. I can guarantee you this is family. You let them know, yo, I was referred to by the Ozone. They'll hook you up. They might throw a couple extra donuts on the side. But guys, we want to thank you guys so much, man. The love that we're getting has been, brother. I don't know if you see it, man. The numbers are continuing to grow. But we just need you guys to tell a friend, as Dave said. Guys, to continue to share, get it out there. Because this is something that Dave and I love to do, and we love to bring you guys the fire every week. So in order to help us out is to share the information that we are available on TikTok. We're available on Threads, Twitter, and Instagram. And Instagram, guys, we're available on all that. And, and obviously, obviously like and subscribe to the videos and stuff like that. So it's been an amazing episode, brother. It's been long. It's been long. It's been good. It's good weather here in Miami. I might take a swim in the pool right now. How's it out there in Orlando, real fast?
It's beautiful. It's about to be 90 degrees if it isn't
New
already.
York is cooking. New York had the Puerto Rican Day Parade. Shout outs to all our Puerto Ricans, especially the Puerto Ricans in New York. The Puerto Rican Parade and all that stuff, man, is always valid in New York City, man. I kind of miss the Miguel Cotto fights. That used to be the cake on top on Puerto Rican weekend. I should have wore the damn Puerto Rican hat. I just think about it right now. But shout outs to all our Puerto Ricans and shout outs to all our fans. Guys, we'll see you next week when we bring a whole new episode of That Fire. Peace.
This is more than a podcast. It's a sports throne. Let's kick it off right. Welcome to the Ozone.